Hello, so this is Dali and I'm going to be doing a Kerbal series as well. It's going to be based off of Scott Manley's Kerbal Space Interstellar series. If some of you are familiar with the mods involved there, it will be using the Interstellar pack, as well as a few various mods. The only difference is I've also added the Kerbal attachment system. I feel it's a critical mod, especially for doing large assemblies, and it lets you make some rather interesting base designs as well. So you'll see I already started this, put a little bit of time to get through those first, just to get some science. And I have a vessel here that I'm going to be using. If it starts, there we go. And it's just designed to get me into deep elliptical orbit around Kerbin. So you can see obviously it's a simple solid stage for the initial ascent, and then I'll be doing the gravity turn with this stage here in the middle, and then my final propulsion here will really push my apoapsis out, hopefully to 1.5, maybe 2 million. And for this flight, I don't really care what direction it ends up orbiting in. You can see it's starting to tilt because of the parachute here, breaking the symmetry of the rocket. And I think I'm just going to let it naturally pull itself down like that. It will hopefully generate a very good ascent vector. So far, it's doing an okay job. It's a little flat than you would normally want, but I think it will turn out quite well, as long as it doesn't really dip right here. Might have to pull back up on that a little bit. Let's see if I rotate it, if that will change that dip effect. And slowing it down, but it does not seem to be really improving my situation very much. As long as I don't dip down, I will be okay. Here, let's reduce my propulsion there, see if I can counteract that with my tiny bit of SAS that's in my command module. Nope, that is not going to work out. So I'm actually going to have to... Nope, and it is starting to just dip. So we're going to decouple here and see if I can get it to let me go. There we go. So we are going to be rather boring. I've already done a flight like this on purpose. The accident of flying here is disappointing, to say the least. We'll see what we can get out of it here. But I don't think it's going to be any kind of impressive. See, I can't get any science from that. Hopefully when I land, it will provide some science. I want to make sure I'm not time accelerated when the parachutes take effect here. There we go, and now we'll accelerate down to the ground. Oh, I never noticed that. This cord is yellow. And slow it down. Boom. Alright, let's see if I get any kind of science. Not particularly, so I'm not even going to bother getting little Jebediah out. I think I'm going to remove that parachute. It's causing me all my issues and heartache. 28 science. We'll we'll adjust that. Remove that extra parachute. It's just there to give me a little bit of comfort. but it can land just fine on the one parachute. So we'll just pull you out. We'll check these vectors. They look like they line up rather nicely. So we'll save and then launch it here again, and hopefully actually get that aiming for. It's supposed to be a low periapsis with a extremely high apoapsis. The issue of that being, of course, the re-entry is rather quick. But I think if we do it right, we'll skim the atmosphere a little bit and absorb most of the heat on that trajectory. Just see how that maintains itself. See, now we have a more controlled ascent, almost perfectly vertical. So let's see if I can tilt it to the right here. No, doesn't look like it wants to, but it will go to the left. So we'll do a left orbit. Nothing necessarily wrong with a left orbit, just it's not normally the way. Most orbits that are established are in line with the rotation of the planet. It's just typically how it's done. Conveniently, that's also how most other celestial bodies orbit, is in that direction. So making orbital transfers are very easy in that regard. We have a pretty good ascent vector here. It might be a touch vertical. We'll see in a second. We apparently... Oh. Apparently... Oh, I was just going straight up and down. Not quite established enough horizontal velocity to really lock in a good directional orbit. Okay, so this is actually looking pretty good here. Let's see if I can get it to tilt over. It's almost horizontal now. Because it's going to want to maintain its trajectory down the prograde there. As a result of those tail fins. Don't have those tail fins. It's not really going to be a problem. So we will horizontal this baby out. Check the map as you see my apoapsis over there firing out. And hopefully we'll see, zoom out here a bit and see what my full orbit is actually doing. And you can see it start to circularize a little bit. Before I run out of fuel, we should see that apoapsis on the other side at about 1.5 million kilometers above Kerbal. So it is indeed looking good. See, there it goes. Apoapsis flipping around to the other side. Where are we? We're 1 million. Looks like I'm going to be a touch short, just shy of 1.3 million. So we'll see how that turns out. So, disable. I just achieved 70. There we go. We'll time accelerate around here. Do my science. Good amount of science. Prep the EVA. Report. I recorded my observations, or Jebediah recorded his observations, and they were not terribly exciting. I'm just going to rotate it around here so I'm facing retrograde. Right there. On the other approach. Now you see me zooming back. Alright. We'll make sure we are retrograde. We're just going to let it skim the atmosphere here. You'll see it start to heat up. Oop, 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 oop. Easy. You'll see it. Yeah, you'll see it start to heat up here. We're still good on SAS electricity. Let's see it start to heat up, hopefully. As we hit the periapsis, I'm just going to fire those. That was their purpose, was to give me that little extra boost so I don't actually end up rotating around the Earth significantly. Oh, now I have no more electricity. And it looks like I'm going to end up making another rotation about the planet here. Yeah, it's not dropping off, and I am going to be exiting atmosphere here shortly. Pulling down, so hopefully it only takes this one extra loop around Kerbal. I know, I understand that he might indeed end up being hungry. Life support monitoring. Electricity remaining. I believe he can survive for 8 hours without electricity. I'm not entirely sure. So here we'll accelerate it around. And there we go. Hopefully that drops enough. We see it dropping there. Not quite as significantly as we would hope, and this is really the one I should be watching. Because if it does not get low enough, we will have to make another pass. You can see my ship there getting bounced around a little bit as we skim off the atmosphere. Quite literally, you see it dip here, then it'll catch over here and flip it back over. It looks like we are going to be making another pass around Kerbal to actually enter atmosphere. Obviously, this is not something you typically want to do, especially on your longer trips, as you might have this problem running out of electricity, though hopefully you have some method of electrical generation. At that point, keep your Kerbals warm. I've always been curious about this food remaining. It's got a ticker here, and is that him slowly munching on his snacks? I mean, yeah, let's look. It's a little tight in here. Well, control your hand. And so those must be his water bottles. Maybe it's just liquid food. Maybe that's all there is. So we'll speed it up again and loop around. I think this time we will do fairly well. Probably end up landing over here. Entering again. Oop. Dude, we're coming in sideways. Hopefully that doesn't actually be the case. Nope, nope. We are looping around quite quickly here. A little too quickly. Come on. Figure yourself out. Yep. Alright. There we go. So we are going to be okay. And that periapsis looks like it is going to be low enough for me to start really experiencing some atmospheric drag here. Pull my, and now we're gonna spin and make Jebediah sick. Yep, there we go. We are definitely on a collision course. And so we're flipping around here, and we're going to experience some heat coming through. Maybe let the parachute trigger a touch later. We want to make sure we absorb all of this heat. We'll let these here absorb it. This is one thing that's bothered me because, obviously a rocket engine is not really designed to travel at any sort of speed in this direction. I mean, that would act as a big parachute and probably rip it to pieces here. See, as we're getting rather toasty. There we go, and we slowed down, so I'm going to do that there. And that fires off. And then our parachute. So it looks like we are doing fairly well here. Want to be careful not to break my parachute here. Hopefully it triggers. Making me nervous. Now we'll lose that heat shield I had as a precaution. And time warp down. Maybe have Jebediah get out, grab a surface sample, though I don't think this is any new biome. Bouncing. Alright, Jeb, let's see if there's any. Take a surface sample. Oh, there is some science to be had there. Grab board, and we have completed our deep orbit. I'm going to turn out successfully after a failure there. Let's see what kind of science we get, and we will end our first episode. 2 hours is a bit longer than I would have liked. Yes, let's recover it. Now we have 59 science. That's going to get me something, hopefully some panels or some SAS. And we could be on our way to the moon. You know, I'm going to do that Science Junior there. So that way we can get a bit more science. With the batteries, we might be able to do a moon venture, but we shall see in the next episode. So thank you guys for watching. I'm Dali, and this is Kerbal Space Program.